It's definitely back. The Living in Style mid-year big sale is finally back. It's the biggest sale event that most furniture lovers have been waiting for. Check out their big deals on bedroom furniture pieces, bed night table, dresser, mattress, and wardrobe. Living room, sofa, coffee table, side table, carpet, accent pieces, center table, and accent chairs are on big discounts. Plus, you can get big savings on dining furniture pieces, dining table, dining chair, buffet cabinets, and more. Surely now is the right time to upgrade your space and make it your best home ever. Visit Living in Style at the second level of the Park Mall in Mandaue City, Cebu, and immerse yourself with a vast display of classic, modern, chic, and Nordic furniture pieces for DTI Fair Trade Permit number R7CEB 331 series of 2021. Hi everyone, welcome to Alive, my search for the best ways to live. I'm your host, my name is Jiggy Jr., and my guest today, as we celebrate Pride Month, is a immediate past president of the IBP. She's also the city treasurer of Mandaue City and a champion for LGBTI cause, not just here in Cebu, but perhaps in the entire Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, Regal Oliva, or Attorney Regal Oliva. Hi, Attorney.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Jiggy. Thank you for considering me in your show. I'm a fan of yours.
Thank you so much, and I'm also a big fan of yours. First things first, Attorney. If you don't mind me asking you this, what is the appropriate pronoun you think for you? What should I use?
Frankly speaking, Jiggy, I'm not very particular with the pronoun. Huh?
Okay.
Actually, my staff in my office, I handle a lot of them.
Okay.
Refer to me as sir.
Okay.
They refer to me as sir. Some of the taxpayers refer to me as madam, sir. Actually, I'm not very particular with it, but attorney will be the best way to refer to me. But
exactly.
The she and the he. I'm not very sensitive with it, and unlike my other sisters who are very sensitive with the pronoun, I'm different. So, but you know, for the sake of this interview, just refer to me as she.
Okay, but that's an appropriate thing to say in this day and age, right? Okay, first question.
Yes, of course.
What do you think?
My gender expression, my gender expression, Jiggy Jr. is most of all, I'm more inclined to expressing as a woman. So you may refer to me as she. Yeah.
So, at what point in your life, Attorney, did you feel that you were different, that you felt differently, that you were not like everybody else? At what point in your life was this?
Frankly, I never felt different. I felt the way I don't know. My sisters already begin to treat you differently because I'm not like one of them. So around 14 years old, I would say.
So maybe you can take us back to that moment when you were 14 years old and you felt that you were different. Was it like a light bulb moment? Was it a slow process? What was it like?
Okay, I don't know if it's a light bulb moment. Actually, it was an infatuating moment. There were not a lot of effeminate class in the class. It was only me. In the whole batch of 4 sections, it was only me who was acting more effeminate than the others. So I was always assigned that we have rape cases that we were talking about. And one of the scenes was that I was supposed to be raped by the
Okay.
Yeah, by the perpetrator. And then my classmate who served as director told me that this is how you will act and everything. Me as a test into theater. And so the perpetrator came to me and the director told me to kiss me, and the guy has to kiss me, and so he started kissing me. And I felt different. And I went home. I felt different. At that very moment, I was already thinking of him. So it was a different moment. So maybe it's really when your emotion, when your heart starts beating, and it doesn't beat for the same sex. So in other words, you feel different from the others, because my classmates were always talking about girls, and because it's an exclusive boys' school, I was actually looking at.
So when you felt different, when you felt that uh, thing about another man, um, how did you grapple with the idea? Did you try to suppress it? Did you try to share it? What was going through your mind when that moment happened, that infatuating moment that happened to you a long time ago when you were 14 years old? What do you think? What did you do about it?
I don't know. I cannot remember, Jigs. I just lived life, and then yun lang. Ang problema, the problem was at that time, no. When I saw him in the corridors already, and it was me towards him who was already acting different, not him towards me. So maybe he doesn't have that attraction towards me, but I did had with him. So I did nothing. I was just a bit flabbergasted, especially with his presence. So that's it. But
so knowing how
like
how you felt about him, knowing how you feel about men and women, did you when was the moment when you finally told everybody else, your parents? When did you finally come out? At what age would you be able to say that you finally came out?
I cannot remember coming out. Frankly, it was like I met a very good friend way back in high school, and um, she was actually from a batch higher than I was. And then she were effeminate. Pwede in an exclusive boys school. Patay ka if you refer. Diba? So I was mostly referring to myself as an effeminate person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that's it. And then we became best friends. And after which, sorry, Jiggy, I just need to answer my daughter, huh?
Go ahead. Feel free.
Sorry.
We'll just edit
I have
out.
a 14-year-old daughter, and this time she actually mostly calls me at this time.
Okay, perfect.
But I'm sorry.
This would be an interesting
anyway,
conversation.
Okay. Now. And so at that time, it was only me and her in facing our adversities in life. And she ultimately became my best friend, but she did not, she passed away at a very young age. And so that's why I lost someone who I truly, truly love and adore as a friend. And she was my partner in the advocacy also. So sayang. But yes, it was her who I secretly confided on what I felt towards the same sex. And ultimately, because we were strong together, we found strength in each other. The sense with each other going forward is a bit threatening to the Jesuit beliefs of educating boys. And so, muna, kay di man pwede magbinayot sa eskwelahan, so kailangan mag-separate mong duha. And that was a very painful time for both of us. But it was really him. It was my friend Jefferson who I trusted my life with when it comes to coming out. But it was from teachers and from our principal's office who told my parents about me acting or behaving quite abnormally in the dogma or handbook or rules. And that's how my parents talked to me about it, if it's true or not. And I said it's not true. I'm not bayot. In the 90s, Jiggy, when you're one, it was so hard to come out of the family because your dad will always tell you na wala ra ba bayot sa mong pamilya, di ba? Pag binayot din ha. But then again, you realize after 10 years that he has a first degree cousin who is as loud and as proud as I am. So things like these. No, it was taboo for the family to have to have a member in the family who's coming out as gay. And way back in the Philippines, when these happened, I was in the forefront of coming out, and deciding to just be me. And that's how it was. It was painful for my dad watching me come out, like, especially for me, who's coming out and who's expressing more of a woman. My gender expression was towards being a female. It was a painful thing for my dad to see.
You mentioned it was painful for your dad to see. So you mean you actually had a coming out moment? Was there like a little celebration, a little party, or was it on a
It was
dinner
more
table?
little by little, Jigs. Little
Okay.
by little,
Okay.
you have it. And it was more of me, my dressing, how I dressed up,
Okay.
how I how do I turn this off? Hello.
You're saying so that uh, there was no ceremony. It wasn't like you were coming out on the dinner table one evening, or was it like with a bunch of friends in a bar or whatever? There was no such thing as a coming out party that you had, right? It was just
No, not at all.
gradual.
It's not right now. There's a coming out party. Everybody is so proud to say that I am in that community. And
Yeah, yeah.
and moms and dads hugging his son or his or their daughters because they came out. No, it's not like that before. If you say that you're one of us, if you're saying mami, daddy, bayot ko, oh my God, basag paan ka, Jigs. My God, hindi na pwede. You can't have that.
So what happened?
Yeah, you just have to confide with your friends secretly. Like,
Okay.
like when I was in Siliman, I had to tell my friends who were female because they were having crushes on me. And I said, hindi ko pwede. Ayot ko.
So when your dad or your parents had an inkling that you were gay, did you
Had, yes, they were intently having crushes on me, and I felt so uncomfortable. I felt like I'm more pretty than you. So it's difficult, huh? Coming out parties only happened lately, just now. It's taboo to have one before.
So when you started dressing up, when you started exhibiting signs that you were gay in front of your parents, was there any snide remarks? Were you being told to hose it down a little bit, or they were just accepting of what you were doing, like for example dressing up?
There was a deal that I had with my dad.
A deal, okay. What was the deal?
My dad said, "Pasagdan tikaw, just give me good grades."
Okay. Good deal.
Ayaw kong pakawawi. Things like that. And those I gave. I gave to my dad. I had good grades, and I did not embarrass or humiliate the name of the family. So he was very happy, and ultimately he stood as the proudest father that I have had. I mean, he always tells everybody. He was the one he's the one telling everyone that I am, akadi ako anak, bayot ni, pero gilhigay ni. And I said, it was even more embarrassing to me, Jigs. So I had to tell him that, Daddy, stop introducing me that way. I mean, people already know that. You don't have to, put me out on your friends.
So I noticed that you have the image of the Santo Niño behind you, and some pockets of
I'm not Catholic, Jigs. I'm not Catholic.
Some pockets of the faith, the Christianity for that matter. Some of them believe that it is not allowed in the Bible that you are gay. There's only man and woman. I know there's that number is diminishing by the day, but they're still out there. How did you confront that notion did you even deal with that idea that the Bible says it's not supposed to be the case, and you're not supposed to be like that, and all that stuff? What was your frame of thinking when faced with that idea or ideas?
Frankly, I did not dwell into that.
Okay.
I don't debate with people who start bringing up the Bible to me.
Okay.
Okay, the Bible will always suit you if you wherever you whatever passage you may want to read.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, for anyone in with sin or not, whatever your belief is, it's all in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on how you really interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the greatest commandment is there. It's already it's love, and love is love. So what is there not to hate about love?
Mm-hmm.
So just continue loving, and you can have a good life. So for those who criticizes the way my lifestyle is because it's not allowed in the Bible, I will not debate on that. I mean, the final judge is not them. I have my God who watches me, and I have my God who I can converse.
Attorney, one of the most
It was bothering days in your church. It's difficult because I was raised a Catholic, and then there are days when you have to really look for a place of meditation, but you're not comfortable in coming into the church because you believe that the people inside the church do not welcome you there. So it became a difficult process, but then again, I found solace in the fact that with my Creator.
You mentioned in your TEDx talk in Silliman University that there was a protest of some sort, and your school didn't agree with it, but the church eventually told the school to allow this kind of behavior and all that stuff. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Because I thought that was an interesting moment. Was that here in Cebu in Sacred Heart, or was that in Silliman?
Back in Silliman.
Okay.
It is back in Silliman. Silliman is a Christian school. It's a Protestant school.
Okay.
And when president for that position, a lot of opposition came into being because they say that you shouldn't be electing a president in the student government who is gay.
Okay.
Ayaw mo pag butar ana. So that was how I was opposed to against students. And so I lost. I lost the first election that I ran for. I lost with 2 votes. Out of the around 8,000 students who voted, I only lost for 2 votes against my opposition.
Wow.
At that moment, it was also a light bulb moment on me that, the best thing to fight discrimination in school is to talk about it. Talk about it so that they will understand gay rights. We call it gay rights before yet.
Mm-hmm.
There were no LGBT rights before. It was gay rights. So it was a light bulb moment to talk about it, to educate people, and to it's different. Your gender expression may be different, but at that very moment, you talk about discrimination because I felt discriminated upon because I could have served the students better, but then I was just voted because of my sexual orientation.
So tell us the story about the school and the church telling the school to change that sort of ruling. What happened, and what do you think prompted the Protestant church behind Silliman University to change their minds about the situation?
Yeah, correct. Because the next year, when after I lost, I made this organization. It's called Basilban Society, or Bakla ng Silliman Lumalaban. And so we fought just the same as mga Alpha Phi Omega, mga fraternities and sororities which were recognized in school. So you have to apply, and we were denied 7 times. We were denied, and 7 times we applied, and then we were denied. At one time, there was this parade. It was called the law. It was the Religious Life Emphasis Week. And then there was a parade that was participated by all the organizations in schools.
Okay.
And so Basilban Society was not included in the list.
Mm-hmm.
So among gibuhat, okay, di ba may appeal, mag-una mi og parade.
Okay.
So nag-parade big amo. Okay, we hired our drums and everything. So before nag-start ang parade, like they start at 5 o'clock, at 4:30 nag-parade namin. Nag-una mi sa ilang parade. Whatever was the route, we went into the route. And so, sukok ang administration amo ato jigs. And so what happened was that they were moving for our suspension, and some sectors also moved for the expulsion because we were insulting the religious affair of a Christian church like the United Church of Christ in the Philippines, the UCCP. And that was when the church came in. And the church said, no, you must not persecute that group. You must welcome them. And that was the time when it changed the whole environment of Silliman. That was a time when they were talking about it. That was a time when they saw the humanity behind us, that we were there to actually show our talents, show our skills, and that we should be out of that box wherein, we were supposed to be a decoration of sorts, but when they need them, they call us, and if they don't need us, then we're not included in the whole society. And so that was when the church came in. And with the church coming in and telling and supporting our organization that Basilban society should be recognized, national attention, and then ultimately international attention came in. And that was when I felt the urge to really roll this down, that I must not stop my advocacy. And up to now, it's been 3 decades since I'm talking about it.
So after the 8th time when you applied for your group to become a legitimate organization in school, was it finally approved?
It was approved, but I was not anymore there.
Okay.
I was already graduated, and then I came back to Cebu, but it was already, it was approved under the name of Silliman University Gay Association, or SUGA. Because they did not want Basilban to be used, because it was more of a combative organization. But we were there. We were really combating the whole norm of the whole culture of Silliman.
So, like you said, attorney, it was something that not only got local attention in Dumaguete, but perhaps not just in the Visayas and not just in the entire Philippines, but all over the world. It was a watershed moment for gay rights in not just in Dumaguete but all over the world. What year was this, and what kind of support did you get? Not just from people in Dumaguete, but from people everywhere. Maybe you can give us an idea what sort of support that you got from different voices from all over the country and all over the world.
Yeah, this happened in 1998, James.
Wow.
And
okay.
In 1998, and with what happened in Silliman, Congress, people from Congress came in and talked to us about it, and ultimately, within 5 years after, the first anti-discrimination bill was filed in Congress by Congresswoman Etta Rosales. And so our experiences in Silliman was part of it, was a contributing factor why a law shall be passed, not only for Silliman but also for the whole country. And that was the first significant step that was taken in the halls of Congress. Before, there was nothing. Before, it was just, we had to fight for ourselves, di ba? Kanang sugsugon kay mi mo adto na mong magkipagsumbagay mi before. I mean, usukol ka. Especially kung daghan mi, sige, bugno, rambol.
Okay.
That was how we functions on people belonging to the third sex. There was only 2 sexes, and us were third, fourth, fifth, whatever. And so that was and ultimately after 2003, lawmakers started talking about it. People in government started talking about it. People in institutions, in academic institutions, talking about it, and became an academic freedom of sorts. So it rippled down to where we are now. And I'm happy because maybe we have strides, we have mountains to climb, and we're taking little steps towards getting there. But I see that the movement is just always going up. Sometimes we slid down, but there we still go up, and I'm sure one of these days we get to the peak.
One of the most interesting things about you, attorney, is that you not only succeeded in the academe, but you also are now a lawyer. And, for a long, long time, being a lawyer is actually a gentleman's club, right? Especially, maybe like years ago, most of the lawyers are men, and there's only very few women who become lawyers. And you're not only a lawyer, but you're a gay lawyer. Was it as difficult for you to become a lawyer than to be able to succeed in school? How was that?
As a law student, it was difficult also because I took my law school in the University of San Carlos. So this time it's a new institution, it's a Catholic institution, and conservatism is still very high. And it was also in the University of San Carlos when I really fought that I be allowed to wear my high heels and to dress up like a woman as I enter law school.
Okay. So how was that?
And I really fought to the administration about it, and they agreed with it. And I told them, being law students, we are taught to think freely, to think that there is equality in the eyes of law, that there's no man, there's no woman, because Lady Justice is blind. And so they allowed me to dress
Good
up
argument.
like a woman. Yeah, they dress up like a woman. So as long as my grades in school will pass, and I did. And ultimately, fast forward after 5 years, I became a lawyer because being a lawyer again is still a struggle, no? As you said, it's a gentleman's world. Even for lady lawyers who are present, they still have to think like a man, no? Because but the thing is, it's not about a man. It's not about a gentleman's world. It's about a culture of patriarchal nature that has been inculcated in opening to them, and they welcomed me. And in fact, I led the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, the city chapter, which has 2,000 lawyers, and I became their president because they already saw beyond sexuality. They did not question anymore if I'm gay or if I'm a transgender woman, or if the presence of LGBT people in our midst. We are not anymore placed on a certain corner of the room, but we are welcomed at the table and we talk about it. We talk, and you see us not as a threat anymore, but as a human being in your table. So little by little.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch your answer earlier, Regal, because we got cut off. So was it as difficult for you being a student compared to being a law student, a lawyer, to become a lawyer and succeeding in school in college in Siliman? Was it more difficult to become a lawyer or not? Maybe the worst was behind you, and becoming a gay lawyer was not as difficult as you thought it would be.
Jigs, it was the most difficult part to be a lawyer is law school.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Not because I'm an LGBT person, but because
it's just difficult.
Lisod kaayo ang law school.
Exactly.
Siya. That's how. But when you pass the bar, you become a lawyer, and the challenge is there. The challenge to wala ko ka-feel.
Makaka-feel nga you're men in the room or trying to say, what are you doing in this world? Like, what are you doing becoming a lawyer and stuff like that? Because women would get that from men. How much more for a gay person, right?
For women got that. Women got that in way back also in the 90s. But right now, not anymore. Women rule the world. I mean, women rule a lot of organizations they head. So it's okay. And for me as a transgender woman, I'm also very much welcomed in the law profession. Wala din ako kadungog og kanang ayaw na siya kay bayot na. Not anymore. And sorry, Jigs, ha. There's right now in our society, in the international community, there's a big difference between a gay person and a transgender woman. So I would consider myself as a transgender woman because a gay person is really somebody who is attracted to the same sex, which I am. But as a transgender woman, because I express myself as a woman, so that's why I prefer to be called a transgender woman,
okay, I'm sorry,
rather than be referred to a woman, so gay. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for correcting that. Um, I was wondering if we were going to call I was going to call you that or gay, but thank you for correcting that. So it wasn't that difficult for you to become a lawyer. Now that you have become a lawyer, um, now that you are very successful in running Mandaue City's treasury, so you have all of these successes and you have all of these accomplishments under your belt. What else is there to accomplish for you, attorney?
Oh, I just would like to see my daughter finish finish life with happiness. That's all. Frankly, I don't want any more else. I for one, I just want to see maybe a law passed protecting the LGBT sector, because that has always been my dream for the longest time. And a happy life with my family, and that's all. I'm having that happy life already, but you wouldn't know when this will end. So that's also that's the prayer. For example, when it comes to my career, I don't want any more promotion for me. I what I'm really longing to see is, for me, not the success of as a person, but really as the success of the whole movement, the whole advocacy, that a law, the SOGI Equality Bill, will be passed by Congress and by Senate, signed by the President, and maybe seeing my daughter one day live in a community wherein she will be embraced because she has a transgender parent like me, and she will not be looked down by anyone because she was raised by somebody who belongs to this sector.
So you're going to advocate for laws that will protect the LGBTI community as a private citizen or as a congresswoman?
I don't know.
Did I put you on the spot?
It's a good question. but Jiggy, I don't have politics.
Okay.
Yes, there are so many offers that I run for party list. I'm the first nominee, etc., etc. I did not entertain them because I don't want to enter into politics. Maybe my advocacy should only be lobbying through Congress and tapping my friends and making them understand how important it is for us in this community to have that law.
I was having a conversation with a feminist not too long ago, and she said that most of the women in the world of politics, or in the corporate world for that matter, succeed not because they are a woman, is because they succeed because they act and behave like men. That's why they succeed. So there are very few women who succeed by really being a woman. And one of the classic examples of that, of recent memory, is of course the Prime Minister of New Zealand, right? Their Prime Minister, who was very successful at curbing the pandemic. So what are your thoughts on that, attorney? Do you feel that for a woman to succeed, they should act, behave, and think like a man? Or there's a certain way of looking at things, looking at situations, looking at problems from a woman's perspective that is perhaps superior to how men look at situations and problems?
Jiggy, I think that's very unfair. It's unfair to say that you can only be successful if you act like a man.
Yeah.
Because we're already putting characteristics of men and women, and that's very unfair to separate what it is what it is to become a man and what it is to become a woman.
Okay.
I mean, I think that the only difference to be a man and a woman is the gender, or it's the genitalia that you have.
Okay.
And to act like a man because you're a woman, that's unfair.
Okay.
And for example, what if a man acts like a woman? So you're weak?
Mm-hmm.
So that cannot be. The only way to be successful in life is to continue doing good deeds, to be kind to others, and to excel in whatever you do. And you can be successful in what you really long for. There shouldn't be there shouldn't be placed in a box wherein mauni ang lalaki, mauni ang babae. Kung maglinaki gani ka, successful ka. Magbinabay gani ka, bilin ka sa balay. Magbinayad gani ka, wala na jud ka. That's so unfair.
Okay. So you don't believe that there's a certain way of looking at the world from a woman's perspective. That's why they're saying that there are more successful countries now that are ran by women, especially in the past 2 years because of the pandemic. Most of these successful countries are being run by women prime ministers or women leaders, women presidents. So they're saying there's really a way in which women look at the world that's perhaps different and maybe more effective now compared to the way men look at things, because there are different ways of thinking, right? And there's the feminine way, and there's the manly way, masculine way of seeing things. You don't think that there should be a distinction? Is that what you're suggesting, attorney?
Yes, I don't think there should be a distinction about being macho and being a feminine, but but because this is the dictates of the world already.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so let's give it to that. Maybe for women leaders, because they embrace their weaknesses and it's okay to be weak in front of their constituents. Maybe that's where you find that's where we find them successful, especially in dealing with this pandemic. Sometimes you have to just embrace the weakness and where you are weak at, and then strive and move forward. For the men, they have to show a very strong image, and ultimately they fail. Maybe that's how women do it.
So
I
women
mean,
are
if
better
you
at
have the
showing
best
their
of both
humanity.
worlds, if you can be a man and be a woman.
So
Exactly. Exactly,
yeah,
Jakes.
yeah.
I mean,
So,
this is all about humanity.
mhm. So because I guess men are good at hiding things, right? Especially fear and tears, for example. You're more likely to see a woman cry in front of the camera compared to seeing a man cry, right?
Precisely.
It's just not accepted in society.
And that's
You know,
unfair, di ba? When a man cries,
exactly.
that's so unfair. When a man cries, you say nga, ay ayaw ko an naghila kay para kumura kag babae. You can't do that.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel and I see that when a man cries, that's strength.
Yeah.
And maybe that is where we lie the difference on, no? Because it's on perception, and perception shouldn't be the one that will dictate on how you run an organization or a country. It should not be perception only. We have to get out of that, and we have to see that science and politics should be run should be together. But Jigs, we froze. Did we freeze?
Yeah. So it is now 2021. How long ago was that? 23 years ago, back in 1998, when you first came out and all that stuff. How do you feel about the LGBTI movement now, and where it once was when you were in high school in Sacred Heart and in Silliman University? How has it improved? Has it improved by a lot now compared to where you were back in high school and in college? How do you feel about the movement now in the Philippines?
Very big improvement, Jigs. Grabe good. As I've said, we started with gay rights, and before, the lesbian people and all the transgender were just encapsulated in one term, and that's the gay rights movement.
Okay.
And after so many movements, after so many strides, there's a difference in there's a different person of one who is gay, of one who is lesbian, one who is bisexual, one who's a transgender man and transgender woman. So we see a difference. That's why our symbol is the rainbow, because it's so diverse, but we stay together, holding on together, because to achieve that very elusive goal, which is our law in the Philippines. Moving, the tolerance of the Filipinos is one of the highest in Asia. When I say tolerance, you can work with us. We're talking together, and you're not. Maybe you may have your prejudices, but you respect us, and that's so much. That's a big thing for us, because maybe I can only count with my fingers who are the most tolerant in Asia, and that would have to become Thailand, the Philippines, maybe India. And yes, religion comes with a very strong note here. But after tolerance, we would have wanted to see acceptance already. And when we say acceptance, Jig, there should be a law. And we see that in so many cities already, and provinces and local government units. There are around 21 cities. There are 6 provinces. There are 183 municipalities. There are 3 barangays which have adopted their own anti-discrimination ordinances in their different localities. But then there are only 20 million Filipinos who are protected with these ordinances. In other words, 81 Filipinos are not protected with these ordinances. In other words, the most vulnerable sector when it comes to non-protection of the anti-discrimination law are the poor people. Mao gani musulti sila nga, kung bayad gani ka pag kailangan jud ka maninghuha ka para na kay kwarta. Kay lisod kung wala kay kwarta nga bayot ka kay di ka respetuhan. That's how.
They're saying that,
you know, that was how I was, di ba? Growing up, that was always what they tell me. Ay pag binayad ko kay kwarta, lisod ka ayo. Lisod, unfair for other people who are men and women who are also in the impoverished sector.
But when exactly. They're saying that being coming out is actually a luxury. Being gay, being LGBTQI is actually a luxury for people who can afford to get antagonized by other people, to get critics from other people from in different sections of society. So it's a luxury to come out in the open. So I guess your financial situation becomes a restriction, right? It's sort of like a hindrance for you to come out. What are your thoughts on that?
It's as I've said, it's very it puts poor people in a vulnerable sector. It's dangerous for them to live in a community wherein there's no law protecting them. Mm-hmm. That's exactly why to disregard or to erase that notion that it becomes a luxury to come out in the Philippines. And even if you come out and you have money, it still is not an assurance that you will not be discriminated against. Kalad Karen Davila, this comedian who is very popular, was not allowed to enter into a Makati bar because she was a transgender woman. There was a call center. I mean, there was a transcriber in Jollibee who worked, and she was well off, and she was taken out to become a transcriber because she's a transgender woman. So these are things. Even if you have money, you can still be discriminated against. But if you're poor, all the more you will be discriminated against. One transgender woman was killed by an American Marine because she was, when the American Marine was later on recognized or discovered that she was a transgender woman, she was killed by Pemberton. These are things you don't have. If you have money, yes, you may gain some support and some respect from people. But if you don't have money, you're so vulnerable against discrimination. Double ang imong discrimination.
Did you ever feel like you're discriminated against? Did you ever have to apply for a job, for example, back in the day, or you never had to do that?
I have been fortunate, Jiggy, not to have experienced that kind of thing.
So there was no discrimination whatsoever for you in the workplace whatsoever?
I only heard of so many, and I know of so many brothers and sisters in my community who may have been discriminated against. But as for me, I was not able, or I did not experience such thing.
We're celebrating, of course, Pride Month, the entire month of June, right? We have a lot of people in the LGBTI community watching this interview, hopefully. What is your message to all of them, Attorney Regal? Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Jiggy Jr., for giving me this opportunity, and for my brothers and sisters in the community. There's a long way to go yet. I've been trying to be an inspiration to you all, but then again, you inspire me also to continue this advocacy that we have started so many decades ago. And let us continue, and let us not lose hope. We appeal also to our allies in the community. That's why there's an A in the LGBTQIA, because you are our allies, our heterosexual friends who are supporting us to achieve that very elusive dream of having a law to be fully accepted in our country. And it only takes understanding, it only takes respect, and of course love to be able to reach there. And I'm sure it will not be so long.
You know what, Attorney? We've already had 2.5 female presidents. Do you ever think you will ever have a gay transgender president?
I would hope that one day I would see that as I am still living, no, for a transgender woman president in any parts of the world. But it's inspiring that we have a transgender woman sitting down as a congresswoman in the halls of Congress, and there's so much development. There's so much happy news going around in our country. So if I see also a fellow lawyer who's also a transgender woman, if I see a transgender woman who's a member in the council, who's working in government, who's a transgender woman, who's an engineer, they inspire me. And for gay people who are also working and excelling in their own rights, they truly are inspiring. So I hope one day I would see that.
Yeah, I sure hope so too. Attorney Regal Oliva, as a final message, if they want to show their support for the movement, is there like a website that you can recommend? Perhaps if they want to talk to you about certain issues, maybe you can show us or tell us whatever platforms that they can get in touch with, that you can announce on public. Would you have any?
Okay. There's Rainbow Rights Philippines. There's LGBT Pilipinas. These are website and Facebook pages that you can visit, and you can directly get information from when it comes to the latest on what's going on with the SOGI Equality Bill. And for Mandaue City, you can directly contact me in my Facebook, Regal Oliva, or follow me in my Instagram. I'm always posting our development in our locality. So I'm also very happy that Cebu City right now is moving towards amending their own anti-discrimination ordinance. And but for Mandaue, it's okay. We have a very good, strong LGBT code in Mandaue City, and I hope that other cities will also follow suit.
You know what, Attorney? I would love to do this interview face to face one of these days when things are better. The Wi-Fi here in the area isn't that good, so maybe one of these days we can do this again, perhaps in person. I know you have to go because you have an appointment at 5. Thank you so much for doing this. I didn't think that you would say yes to this interview so quickly, so thank you so much. I was surprised that you actually wanted to do this interview as we celebrate Pride Month, of course.
Jiggy Jr., please, I would love to see and have a conversation with you face to face, better because we will not have any lag.
Yeah.
In our conversations, I'm sure I have been watching your videos also. You're so spontaneous. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm also listening to you by Y101. You have always been a fan since I don't want to mention how old I was. Since I've been hearing Jiggy Jr. already, you're a household name. And it's truly an honor to be interviewed by you.
Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you soon. I'll face to face one of these days, Attorney. Thank you so much.
Promise. Thank you.
Attorney Regal Oliva, daghang salamat. Thank you so much.
Stay safe and stay strong, Jiggy Jr. Bye-bye.
You do the same, Attorney. Thank you.
It's definitely back. The Living in Style Mid-Year Big Sale is finally back. It's the biggest sale event that most furniture lovers have been waiting for. Check out their big deals on bedroom furniture pieces, bed, night table, dresser, mattress, and wardrobe, living room, sofa, coffee table, side table, carpet, accent pieces, center table, and accent chairs are on big discounts. Plus, you can get big savings on dining furniture pieces, dining table, dining chair, buffet cabinets, and more. Surely now is the right time to upgrade your space and make it your best home ever. Visit Living in Style at the second level of the Park Mall in Mandaue City, Cebu, and immerse yourself with a vast display of classic, modern, chic, and Nordic furniture pieces. Per DTI Fair Trade Permit number R7CEB 331 series of 2021. Looking for the cheapest delivery in Cebu? Lala Move is here with 1 peso base fare delivery. You heard that right. 1 peso base fare. Deliver all your needs in Cebu, Mandaue, Lapu-Lapu, Cordova, Minglanilla, Talisay, Consolacion, and Liloan at 1 peso base fare for motorcycles and only pay an affordable 8 pesos per kilometer. What are you waiting for? Download the app now on App Store or Google Play and enjoy Lala Move's 1 peso base fare delivery. Be big! Something big is heading your way at Cebu Home and Builder Center. It's the mid-year big sale from June 1 to 30. Big discounts on tiles, sanitary wares, and plumbing fixtures. Big discounts on chandeliers, lightings, and DIY products. Additional discounts await Sunday shoppers in all branches. So head on to Cebu Home and Builder Center in Banilan, Mactan, Consolacion, El Bacaso, and Minglanilla for DTI Fair Trade Permit number R7 Cebu 331 series of 2021.